Another morning of no live on Facebook. We tried our best. Facebook isn't interested. So we're going to record and then we'll put it up. And today, we've been getting a couple folks asking, I'm beginning to wonder, whether it's just the person I'm taking care of who has dementia, or whether I actually am starting to do it, because I'm finding I can't hold on to things like I could. And I'm struggling with, when I go from place to place, what did I even come in here and for? Did I give him pills or didn't I give him pills? What was I working on? So that's sort of a signal for sure that your brain is spritzing out. But the thing is, the question is, so was this the case before you started to do 24/7 care, or just since everything in your life has been uprooted? Because if it's since, and you truly can go back and say, well, I was doing okay when I was going to the office and he had a care person that was coming in and we would be together in the evenings, and I'd come home and occasionally I might wonder whether that's really, what were we supposed to do tomorrow? But this feels really different. And you can actually trace it back to the start of a new pattern of behavior. And the new pattern of behavior is you're in a different place with somebody that you aren't usually with, doing something you're not usually doing in the way you're not usually doing it over an extended period of time. And yet you may still have some responsibilities from the previous thing that you were doing, and now you have new responsibilities. In other words, your brain is going, I just can't handle all this. Limit, give me some structure here. I can't do this. And the part of your brain that's most impacted by these kind of changes as a starter is your hippocampal area. And that's where your brain helps you learn and remember things. It helps you go from place to place and associate those different places with different things that you do, and where to come back to, like your home base. And then it also helps you keep up with the passage of time, like how much time has just gone by. Has it been a few seconds, a few minutes, a few hours? How much time has gone by since you did some things? And so when that part of your brain is feeling overwhelmed, it can typically not do everything at once. Well, then it's distress. When that part of your brain gets distressed and it sends out distress signals, it sends them to other parts of the limbic system, or the primitive brain. And that's the amygdala. And the amygdala's job, it's a survival part of your brain. And it says, ooh, threat. This is threatening. And when it feels threatened, it turns itself on and it takes over the rest of your brain and tells the rest of your brain, all right, you know what, we're in survival mode here. This is dangerous and we got to deal with the immediate danger. And when it does that, unfortunately, one of its jobs is to turn off your language center, turn off your executive control center, make yourself really fast and really strong, but not necessarily very skillful, and to limit your visual field and the way you see things down a good bit, so that you're only able to see one thing or one area at a time, so you can figure out how to get out of this situation or how to focus in and take away the threat. And of course, the problem here is that this threat just continues. It may be somewhat different. And believe it or not, you're being threatened by new things. The amount of time you're spending with somebody that you don't spend with, the amount of stuff you're trying to get done, even though you're doing this other thing with this person, the effort to hold on to two new schedules. It's not just one new schedule, because you're also trying to hold on to your person's new schedule. But they're also struggling often with you being now. So we've got two people whose brains are in more of a distress mode. And if one of us doesn't figure out, okay, is this dementia or is this not for you and for me? Well, that actually is sort of a complicated question. And that's why I said, well, tell me about your symptoms. Or I may not have said it that way, but tell me a little bit about how were you doing before and how are you doing now? Is this really dramatically different? How are you spending time now versus how you were spending time? What kind of responsibilities do you have now versus what you were doing before? Where are you doing everything versus where you were doing it before? And what kind of your own health problems and the other person's health problems are you dealing with, and what kind of brain changes otherwise have you noticed? Have you noticed word finding difficulty? Have you noticed problems with sequencing and Well, if that's the case, it could still simply be amygdala for one of you, and it's amygdala for the other, but it may not be chronic. It may be an acute state of distress. So one of the good parts about the amygdala is when it's not really a physical threat to the human being, the brain's amygdala do have capacity when the human being takes charge and says, wait a minute, I mean, this is frustrating, but it's not dangerous right now to be with you. I mean, you're not dangerous. We're not in danger to one another. We're just annoying each other. And it's annoying not to write off, remember something. It's irritating not to be able to figure things out and to sort of forget where I was. Do I have some strategies to help me cope better? And can I start to employ those strategies first for myself and then for the two of us? So the first strategy typically that we recommend is to realize, when your amygdala turns on, one of the things it might do is make you hold your breath, hold on to something just in case. And you might notice your muscles are tensed up, and you might notice your facial appearance is sort of a little tense. You might notice that your hands are more clenched. You're folding forward a little bit. You're like and you might also notice that because you feel like you're limited, you may find yourself looking around and not really seeing what you're looking at because you're just in surveillance visual. Is there something out there of danger? Rather than, let's see, I had my coffee cup in my hand. Let me think. Let me trace my path because I probably set it down to do something along the way, and begin to trust yourself. But before you can do that, you might want to go, I want to make sure you notice some things. I breathed out diaphragmatically really deeply. I rolled my shoulders to see if I could loosen up. You might not have seen, because they were out of range, me clench and then just relax my hands and turn my arms forward and out, which is opening up my chest muscles and getting me to move out of that posture of distress. And the other thing I did is I closed my eyes. I got myself to close my eyes, because if I can close my eyes, I'm not seeing a whole lot. So maybe I'm starting to pay attention to what's going on in. And when I can do that a couple times, what happens is I actually get oxygen into my brain. And if there indeed is no immediate physical threat, and it has to be an immediate physical threat, when I can get myself to do that kind of thing, I can start the process of de-stressing. And when I get myself down to, okay, well, this is just annoying, then I can try to figure out what's something that I do when I'm annoyed that helps. How do I get out of this place? But if I don't bring myself down, it's going to be real tricky to get myself over to try to do something that feels better for me, for my partner, for us. So that's just a quick prompt. The question was, am I starting to get dementia? And the answer is, well, I'm not sure for sure, but what I can tell you is whether you're starting to get dementia or not in this moment, if you can use some positive coping strategies, you'll still do better, because it doesn't really matter if it's a chronic change or a temporary acute change. If you can start to manage distress, it's always a good thing to put yourself in a better place. And we can talk more about after you can sort of get that under control, because until you get that under control, and if you can't, maybe it's time to talk, because the last thing we need is two people in distress with no support. So reach out, because just because we're staying 6 feet apart, for sure, we can still make connections. And we're here at Positive Approach. We actually can do that kind of thing. We have a chat, we have a free consult, we have an info line. And we're starting some new services today. They'll be out there. They're actually skill building sessions. So maybe that's a direction to go. We have an online care partner support series. Maybe that's a way to go. Or maybe you just need somebody to talk to. So think about doing that, but don't talk down. Take it up. Thanks. That's Teepa for 10.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to help us spread Teepa's positive approach message around the world. And don't forget to click the bell to get notified when new videos are posted.